Why America won't help Ukraine during the war, but it will help Taiwan. Biden vowed to protect Taiwan. What exactly does it mean by that? Following President Joe Biden's pledge in May to provide additional support for Taiwan, there has been a flurry of geopolitical activity. The American announcement is contributing to an increase in the level of tension that exists between the United States and mainland China. The conflict between China and Taiwan has been sparked by Taiwan. Now, Taiwan has emerged as a new source of tension between the United States and China. However, why should the United States care about Taiwan? Hello everyone, and welcome back to Nations Eco. In this video, we are going to find out why America is supporting Taiwan, but not Ukraine. So make sure to watch the video till the end, because this one is going to be really informative. And let's get started. In what appears to be a reversal in U.S. policy, President Biden has pledged to support Taiwan. Joe Biden, President of the United States, has stated that China is toying with danger with regard to Taiwan and that he has pledged that the United States will launch a military operation to safeguard Taiwan if it is attacked. When he was speaking in Japan, it seemed as though he was going against U.S. policy that has been in place for a long time in the region. Nevertheless, the White House claimed that there had been no change. Mr. Biden's comparison of the situation in Taiwan to Russia's invasion of Ukraine elicited a furious condemnation from the Chinese government. As the President of the United States, he is embarking on his maiden trip to Asia, during which he will visit many regional allies. Before beginning his remarks, Mr. Biden stated that the position of the United States regarding Taiwan has not changed. However, his statements in Tokyo mark the second time in recent months that he has categorically indicated that the United States would support Taiwan against an assault by China. This has been interpreted as a change in tone on the part of the president. In the past, the United States has provided only hazy details of the actions that it would take in such a scenario. Taiwan is seen as a province that is broken away from China and should be brought back together with the mainland. The spokesperson for Beijing's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Wang Wenbin, insisted there is no place for negotiation or compromise about Taiwan because it is an integral component of China's territory. The problem with Taiwan and the one with Ukraine couldn't be more dissimilar from one another. It is ridiculous to compare the two of them. Once more, we strongly encourage the United States to adhere to the One China policy, as Wenbin concluded. The United States does not have any formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Nevertheless, in accordance with the Taiwan Relations Act, which mandates that it must supply the island with the capability to defend itself, the United States does export armaments to Taiwan. While doing so, it keeps its official connections with China and officially respects China's view that there is only one Chinese government. What exactly did President Biden say, and why does it really matter? During a press conference in Tokyo with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, Mr. Biden was fielding questions from the audience when a journalist asked him and Mr. Kishida about the defense of Taiwan. The President of the United States opened his remarks by making a direct connection between the conflict between China and Taiwan and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Then what does this indicate to China about the cost of seeking to take Taiwan by force, he said, assuming that there would eventually be a reunion between Ukraine and Russia and that sanctions would not be maintained if there was finally rapprochement between Ukraine and Russia. Mr. Biden said, in reference to increasing reports of Chinese warplane incursions into Taiwan's self-declared air defense zone, they are already flirting with danger right now by flying so close and all the maneuvers that they are undertaking. This statement was made in reference to Taiwan's self-declared air defense zone. He continued by saying that despite the fact that my expectation is that a Chinese invasion, will not happen, it will not be attempted, the outcome was contingent upon how strong the world makes plain that that sort of conduct is going to result in a long-term disapproval. Following this, he was directly questioned if the United States would protect Taiwan militarily if China attacked, despite the fact that it did not do so during the invasion of Ukraine, and he responded as follows: "You are correct. That was the promise we made. The notion that speaking of Taiwan, may be captured by force is just not suitable at any time. The entire region will be thrown into disarray, and it will be another action like the one that took place in Ukraine." It only took a few minutes for the United States Department of State to begin to distance itself from Joe Biden's comments. This is not the first time he has stated that he will defend Taiwan. He has said it previously as well. It's possible that he's expressing the profound personal unease he feels about the invasion of Ukraine and the possibility that something similar will happen in Taiwan. In March, he did something very similar when he remarked, "Vladimir Putin cannot stay in power," which forced authorities in the United States to hastily deny that the United States was asking for a regime change in Moscow. However, when questioned about it at a later time, Mr. Biden did not retract his statement. According to what he stated, he was merely expressing his moral anger at what Putin was doing. On this particular day, he appeared to be saying, "I won't let it happen to Taiwan." The official position of the United States government on Taiwan is known as strategic ambiguity. This means that the United States does not state that it would protect Taiwan in the event of an attack, but it also does not say that it wouldn't. This should keep China guessing about what to do next. However, as China has become more powerful and its threats to Taiwan have been more tangible, there have been calls to put an end to this deception. Recently, former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe stated that it was time for the United States to make its position clear to Beijing and state that it will support Taiwan. Others believe that this is a terrible idea that could encourage Beijing to move more quickly with its aspirations to regain control of the island. In private, many high-ranking officials in Washington and Tokyo are very concerned about Taiwan and the increasing military advantage that Beijing is gaining, and they are stumbling around looking for a new plan to cope with the issue. While all is going on, it seems as though Mr. Biden is stating his own truth. Let's talk about the fundamentals of China and Taiwan. What factors contribute to the strained relationship between China and Taiwan? During a civil war in the 1940s, China and Taiwan were physically separated, but Beijing is adamant that at some point in the future, the island would be recaptured by China, by force if necessary. But how does Taiwan's government function? The island has its own constitution, and its leaders are elected through democratic processes. The country's armed forces consist of approximately 300,000 active troops. Who among the world recognizes Taiwan? Taiwan is only recognized by a few nations. Instead, most people recognize the Chinese government as headquartered in Beijing. Despite the absence of any diplomatic connections between the two countries, the United States is bound by law to supply Taiwan with the military hardware it needs to protect itself. Before we wrap up, let's shortly understand the bond between Taiwan and the U.S. Taiwan, as a major democracy and technical powerhouse, is an important U.S. partner in the Indo-Pacific. Despite the fact that the U.S. does not have diplomatic connections with Taiwan, the United States and Taiwan share similar principles, significant commercial and economic ties, and strong people-to-people ties, which constitute the foundation of the U.S. alliance and provide motivation for increased U.S. engagement with Taiwan. U.S. cooperation with Taiwan is expanding through the American Institute in Taiwan, the AIT, a non-governmental entity established under the Taiwan Ties Act to carry out the United States' unofficial relations with Taiwan. Taiwan has emerged as a key U.S. partner in trade and investment, health, semiconductor, and other essential supply chains, investment screening, research and technology, education, and the advancement of democratic ideals. And this brings us to the end of our video. Feel free to let us know what you think about it. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more fantastic content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.